Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here to do Toriko Chapter 195 review. Now, this chapter of Toriko, overall, it's a very simple chapter. It's simple, straightforward, nothing too monumental in this chapter. It was simply put, the reuniting of the four heavenly kings, and they're eating in the Zeno restaurant, and they're just talking about a lot of stuff. And then we have a video feed from the president himself, who says that he's going to leave the task of the human, or he's going to leave the task of guarding the human world to the four heavenly kings, and then so on and so forth. So it's not really that monumental of a chapter. So overall, it's an okay chapter. Not too good, not too bad. Now, when it comes to this chapter, so let's dive right in. When it comes to this chapter, it starts off with a discussion about Coco's powers and his ability to perceive the future and to fortune tell for people. And this turns into a topic or a discussion about success and failure. Coco, Sunny, and Toriko are talking about success and failure. And then Toriko talks about how failure itself doesn't exist. And it was kind of weird, but he was saying how, like, the ones who, well, like, right here it says, the one who knows the ways to win more than anyone is also the ones who experience the most mistakes. So it's kind of like, I guess what he's trying to say here is that success and failure depend, well, actually no. Failure itself doesn't really exist. It's what you set for yourself. Just because things don't go your way doesn't mean that you fail. In your eyes, you may fail, but overall, it may not be a failure to you. That's what I'm kind of getting from this discussion. And then Coco asks Zebra, and Zebra's like, who the fuck cares? And I was like, okay, alright, fine. And then, at this point in time, we get introduced to the owner of the Zeno restaurant, the owner, Chef Yuta. And owner Chef Yuta is not really that important. He just comes in with like a giant stack of plates and dishes, and then he's all about the 1 millimeter type of thing. Or like, I won't move my hand 1 millimeter. I won't budge 1 millimeter. Like, so that's his gag. His gag is the 1 millimeter type of shit. And then after that, well, because what happens is that he's talking to Toriko, and then he turns around. All the food is gone. Apparently, Zebra ate all the food already. Toriko's pissed off, and then here comes Rin and Komatsu, and they're carrying a giant box of bubbly fruit, and they all eat the bubbly fruit, and apparently, all the four heavenly kings, all their gourmet cells activate at the same time. The bubbly fruit had a strong affinity with all four of the heavenly kings. And we see Toriko's arm. His arm just gets like all big and muscly, like, yeah, Toriko. So, you know, obviously Toriko got even stronger. I like how in Toriko, instead of actually like full-blown training, they evolve. I mean, like, we see them train, but it's more so they get stronger through evolution. That, to me, I find very interesting. And then after that, we see a scene, and this is the scene, well, there's a TV right there. The TV turns on, and it's the president, and President Ichiryu, he's, like, talking about how the four beasts themselves are going to occur around the human world from the north, south, east, and west locations, which is the why everyone is gathered in the central, what's it called? The central human world? Yeah. That's why, because that's why people are gathered there in the central human world, because that's the safest place from the north, south, east, and west. And he says that if one of you guys lose, then several billion people will be sacrificed. If one four beast gets into human world, then, well, either it gets in the human world or is able to go into the central. Is able to go into like the central human world, then several billion people will be sacrificed. So that's crazy shit. All right, honest to God, I find it so shocking that within the world of Toriko, the human world, the smallest portion of that world, has a minimum of 60 billion people. Like, that's crazy shit. So, with that being said, and then Ichiryu talks about how, like, he's going to put their faith in defending the human world. And then they all feel inspired. And then Ichiryu was going to say two more things. And then Zebra turned off the TV. He's like, who gives a shit? Let's just go and kick these 4 beast ass. And by the way, your partners are waiting. And then we see Terry, Kiss, and Quinn, and they come up into the on top of the tower. And then they're like, oh shit, well, it's time to go now. And then they're like, well, Zebra, where's your transportation? And then he's like, well, I already have a guy on the way. And then all of a sudden we see some big ass, I mean, we see some big ass black demonic horse. I was like, what the fuck is that, Zebra? Seriously. Like, this thing is as big as the tower itself. It's just walking, and it's crushing all these buildings. Straight up. Straight up. I was like, Zebra, what the fuck is that? And apparently, it's a Dharma horse, which is a demon beast, character level unknown. And apparently, he borrowed this horse from a Dharma hermit. And I was like, what the hell is a Dharma hermit? So, it's kind of strange. And then, well, no, this beast, I don't see it being, well, it's big. I don't know if it's powerful, but it's definitely big. And right there is the end of the chapter right there. Yeah, because then we see them all, like, split apart, and then they're all heading out, and then that's it. So, I don't know if Rin actually gave the measuring tongs to each of the people, or to each of the 4 Heavenly Kings. I'm not too sure. But that being said, they're all heading out to fight their respective 4 beasts. Now, that's the end of the chapter right there. So that's it. No big reveal. The gist of this chapter is to have their cells evolve once more before they face the 4 beasts, and that's it. So I'll see you guys later. King of Lightning, rate, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice day.